Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'll be talking about GetConnect and also StateMixin. GetConnect is an easy way to manage your HTTP requests and make fetching data a lot simpler. You can simply extend GetConnect and use one of the socket methods put, get, delete, etc. to connect with your REST APIs or WebSockets. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the example that I'm using here is a project I already made through the previous videos explaining how GetX works. So if you haven't watched that already, please do so. But to get started, all we need to do is actually create a provider. And for that, I'll just go and create a new directory and call it providers. And inside, I will create a file called user provider. So inside the user provider file, we have to create a class and let's call it user provider, and it extends GetConnect. Okay. So this is just an example of maybe a user profile that you want to load up every time you open the app. And let's create a future with a list of dynamic get users, async, and wait. So for this example, I'm using a free API that you guys could also play around with called random users. If you look here, I already typed it in, but you can actually, it creates random users based on a user model that's already been tried and pasted. And you can actually put the amount of results you want to put in. So there's 5 users. I think by default, it'll actually just be 1 user. There we go. So it's yeah, so this is the API I'm using just for an example, but you would obviously use your own sort of REST APIs. So as you could see here, I just make a request to the API, and then if there's an error, it returns this future. Otherwise, it returns the response result, which, as you can see, is over here. Results. Oh, okay, let me just change that to results. Okay, so then you get this list, and that's going to be dynamic. But what you actually want to do is create a model that represents this data, not just dynamic data. But for this example, I'm just going to use dynamic for now. So next up, let's go to our controller that they actually want to implement this request. And as you can see at the top here in our home controller, we have extended it with GetX controller, and we can actually specify with StateMixin, and then just specify the type of data that you are getting from the response. So in our case, it's a list of dynamic. And this actually comes out with a lot of predefined actions you could use that's sort of designed for requests that you want to make. So first we want to actually create the provider. So we say final user provider equals user provider. And then what you can do is call user provider dot get users, and then we want to, so we call this change method, and we're going to set the status to rx status dot success, and then the same will happen on error. So we have an error which we are going to call the change method again, and we're gonna keep that on null, and the status will be rx status dot error, and pass the error to string. Okay, so this is a very basic implementation, but all you have to do, as you see, create an instance, call the get method or post method or whatever you want to use, and just set it accordingly to what you get as a response. So let's try this out, and let's just print the response for now. There you go. So as you can see, we actually got a response for a user, or for a list of users. And what we're going to do now is just create some UI to actually show how we will display the information. And instead of the example, we'll use controller.obx, which will actually represent or show you the state as the data comes in. It'll actually refresh this UI. Each one of this, or we can actually look from here, we can see that there's an image and a name and an email. Is quite a lot that we can show, but yeah, I'll just show the basic information for now. So we'll set a circle avatar with the background image set to a network image, and we pass the data, picture, and large. Okay. Next we have a title. We set the text to data index title, or sorry, name, plus, actually I'll just copy this. I think, let's see over here, title, first and last. So title, then first, then last. Count the last. Okay. Next we'll add a subtitle. Okay, so there we have our data. So basically there's a list view.builder. whenever we get data, but now we also have to set the errors that we might get. So over here we have an on error method, pass the error, and whenever we get an error, we can just maybe display a text or some sort of dialogue. If you have let's just wrap this with a center. Okay. All right, so as you see there, we actually have our data set for 10 users. So if you refresh, it'll actually change the data. And as you see, this is a very nice way to easily manage all of your requests that you have with the GetConnect class. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I'll be making more of these videos. So if you have any requests, please comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.